One of the other things you added was this alleged jailhouse confession by O.J. Simpson when the Menendez were in L.A. County with him. Can you give us that story? But that's chilling too, just to think that O.J. worked for Hertz. Jose worked for Hertz. O.J. was over at their house for dinner a couple times. The boys knew him.
It is a weird connection.
It's really 6 degrees of separation. Every major story is connected somehow. So, yes, Jose Menendez was actually the guy who put O.J. in the famous TV commercials where he's running through the airports in the 1970s talking about Hertz. And actually, O.J. came to the Menendez house in Princeton several times for dinner, and he met the brothers when they were young boys. And so fast forward to 1994. Eric Menendez was watching the O.J. Bronco chase on TV from the LA County Jail. And a few hours later, O.J. himself came walking down the hallway in handcuffs with sheriff's deputies. So for the first 10 days that O.J. was in jail, he was placed in a cell next to Eric Menendez. And so Eric and O.J. were actually talking and trading letters to each other. And both brothers spent time with O.J. in the attorney room. In the LA County Jail, there is an area called where you meet with your attorneys. And so the attorneys sometimes are late. And so the defendants, like the Menendez brothers or O.J., would be waiting for their attorneys so they would have time to talk to each other. And as crazy as it sounds, Lyle Menendez started giving O.J. advice in jail that he should really do a plea bargain and not go to trial. And basically what Lyle told me was that O.J. said to him, I can't do that. You know, if I plea out this case, that will be the end of my broadcast and movie career. And so I'm not going to do that.
I think it was going to be end of it anyways. But the whole thing is that OJ is friends with Jose, and then he's in with the brothers, and his loyalty, obviously getting hired from Hertz, is with Jose. So I wonder what those conversations were like as well, if OJ asked, did you do it? And they said, did you do it? And that whole thing kind of going on. But, you know, it's got, that would be the conversation, right? They, you know, reminiscing about the days. And I'm sure the Menendez possibly went to OJ's place in Rockingham because he had tennis courts. And who knows if they've, you know, Lyle and Eric and the Jose and Kitty, I imagine they all got together for dinners. If he hired him for Hertz, a big paycheck.
You know, we know that there were Saturday Night Live sketches and other comedy sketches in the 1990s about the Menendez brothers and sketches about OJ. But actually, that's a great idea that in the future, somebody would do a sketch about the brothers and OJ together in jail.
I have one last question.
Yeah.
One last question is for you. The Ryan Murphy documentary, we know that Dominic Dunn was there. He was part of the OJ trial too. Was there a competition between you two? Because you're two prolific writers. So did you say, okay, tell me.
I was very close to Dominic Dunn. We had completely opposite views about the case, but we used to do debates on Court TV every Friday night, where he would be pro-prosecution, I would be pro-defense. And the greatest anecdote I can share with you about Dominic Dunn is the first day that Lyle Menendez testified. It was very dramatic, that first hour. It just really, the jurors were crying. There were a bunch of reporters who were crying. The family members were crying. And when we took the first break at 2:30, Dominic Dunn grabbed my arm and he said, can we go down the hallway away from everybody else? And I want to talk to you. And he looked pale, he looked shaken, and he said to me, I can't believe that I'm going to say this, because he had been such a cheerleader for the prosecution. He said, I think that Lyle Menendez is telling the truth. And, you know, I was stunned to hear that. And I said to him, well, that's some of the most powerful testimony I've ever seen in a courtroom. And I recommend that anybody who wants to see the first hour of Lyle Menendez's testimony in the first trial, go to Court TV. But fast forward 3 hours later, and we're live on Court TV doing our weekly debate. And they went to Dominic Dunn first. He's the great, famous Dominic Dunn. And so I'm really curious, what's he going to say? And the first thing he said was, I didn't believe one word coming out of his mouth. He's a complete liar. I didn't believe anything. So I know I've got about 5 minutes until they come to me. And so I'm thinking to myself, I could bust this guy on national TV right now and say, what about that conversation that you and I had a few hours ago? But I chose not to do that. I thought that would be unprofessional. So when they came to me, I said, Nick, I think that you and I were in different courtrooms this afternoon. That's some of the most powerful testimony I've ever seen.